Welcome to the Maryland Mortgage Rate Weekly Mortgage Market Update for the week of Monday, March 23rd, 2015. Hello, I'm John Thomas with Prime Residential Mortgage, here to give you an update. I want to start off this week with a quote. If you are not part of the solution, then you are part of the problem. Ponder that for the week. Now, if we dig into mortgage rates, Maryland mortgage rates did jump lower last week. If you take a look at the bond chart on the screen, you can see that giant green candle up. That was Wednesday. That's the date the Federal Open Market Committee released their statement that basically rallied bonds, rallied stocks, rallied oil. So mortgage rates jumped lower on that news. And then Thursday and Friday, they closed above the 50-day moving average. So with that in mind, as we go into start this week, we're going to recommend floating your Maryland mortgage rate as we're using the 50-day moving average as support. We're looking to even rally higher off of that. So we're going to recommend floating to see if Maryland mortgage rates can move lower. Now, if we dig into the economic news, the big report last week was the Federal Open Market Committee had their two-day meeting and released their statement on Wednesday, and they changed the language in their statement to using the word patient before they raised short-term interest rates. The market loved that, rallied, because basically we were expecting them to raise short-term interest rates in June. Now we're not even sure if they're going to do it in 2015 at all. And the short-term interest rate is the Fed funds rate, currently at 0.25%. That's the fee charged for interbank lending when they borrow from the Fed. So if that were to go up, it costs more for banks to borrow, so it costs more to lend. People are afraid that could slow the economy. Then the Fed also had a statement on the gross domestic product projection for 2015. They lowered their projection. They were originally at the beginning of the year predicting 2.6 to 3% GDP for the year. They've dropped that down to 2.3 to 2.7%. So they're looking at GDP slowing, slower economy, so they're going to be patient to raise rates. That was good for the bond market, rallied interest rates lower. And then we had weekly initial jobless claims come out on Thursday. They came out at 291,000 claims for the week. That was up 1,000 from the previous week, but that's basically about the same week over week in terms of jobless claims. Now, this past week's number is the one that's going to be used in the March jobs report. So overall, that might be a positive number. So we could see the jobs report being better than expected. That would be bad for mortgage rates on the short term. That report comes out the first week of April. So as we head into that, we may recommend locking to protect these nice gains we've got in the interest rates moving lower. Then in housing news, new housing starts for 2015 February came out. That's the number of new homes builders started building. That dropped 17% from January to 895,000 units on an annualized basis. They're attributing the big drop to the harsh winter weather in February. That winter weather was in the Midwest, the East Coast, all the way down into Texas. We just had a lot of bad weather in February, preventing builders from starting construction on homes. But in contrast to that, building permits were up 3% from January to 1.092 million units on an annualized basis. That's a sign of future construction. So we're still looking for the spring market to be good for home builders into the summer. Then we saw USDA is certain times. They are, as of today, 3/23/2015, they're reviewing files submitted on March 9th. So USDA is back to a 10-day business turn time to review files. So what that means for you is you better plan on having an extra 2 weeks at the end of your settlement to allow USDA time to review your loan and sign off, and that's assuming you don't get any conditions from USDA. So you need to add 2 weeks to your closing time if you're doing a rural housing loan. And then in the local news, the next first-time homebuyer seminar is this Saturday, March 28th from 10 a.m. to noon in Towson, Maryland at the Sheraton Baltimore North Hotel. And then the next one in Laurel is Wednesday, April 8th from 6 to 8 p.m. at the North Laurel Community Center. You can register for either one of those events by giving us a call in the office at 410-412-3319 or online, www.marylandhomebuyerseminars.com. Look forward to seeing you guys next week.